Hello guys, this is Doronsmovies, and today I will be giving you top 10 physically strongest races in World of Warcraft, talking about my pick for the toughest playable races in the game, putting the focus on brute strength, but not just overall size, but how they would fare in unarmed combat. So, without further ado, let's get into the lore. Number 10. Humans. Actually, very similar to us, but the only major difference is that much like the dwarves, they descend from the titans and presumably still carry some of that heritage. Their average height is around 6 feet tall, a bit more than 180 centimeters, although they can reach up to 6 feet 6 or around 2 meters. Weight-wise, they are between 200 pounds to 250, so between 90 and 120 kilograms. Overall, this is pretty big, but when compared to other races, they are among the smallest. What they lack in raw power though, they make up for in agility and dexterity. They are stocky and muscular, but also slender. Not as slender as the elves, but not as stocky as the dwarves, so somewhere in between. They make good warriors, and there are countless examples of them fighting orcs 1v1 and defeating them, as after all there is much more to combat than just size, and their agility can come in really handy. However, brute strength-wise, they definitely wouldn't be able to fare well in unarmed combat against some of the more stronger races on the list. Number 9. Dwarves. Despite being the smallest of all of these, dwarves are one of the physically strongest. Their average height is around 5 feet tall, which is about 150 centimeters. However, they weigh between 200 and 250 pounds, which is between 90 and 110 kilograms. The build of the dwarves is incredibly robust, sturdy and stocky. They're essentially like a small block of muscle. Most of their strength comes from their titanic heritage and the fact that they used to be earthen, a race made of living stone. While the curse of flesh weakened them, they nonetheless possess their ancient strength. Dwarves aren't blessed when it comes to agility and dexterity, but their sturdy build makes them excellent warriors, and when they're fully armored, they are a very tough opponent. Still, the reason they are near the beginning of the list is, after all their size, pound for pound, they may be one of the most powerful races, but keep in mind, after all they're only 5 feet tall, while other races can be twice their size and weight and even more. In unarmed combat, no strength can really help you if your opponent is over 2 times bigger and heavier than you. Number 8. Turin humans. Even though I already talked about the humans, the Turans need to be an entirely separate point. They're generally the same as humans genetically, but some among them are almost a different species. They average nearly 8 feet tall, so around 240 centimeters, and by their looks must weigh as much as an orc, definitely in the 300 to 400 pound range, so at the minimum 150 kilograms. Not much is known about the origin of their size, but some say it is due to them retaining more of their vital genes, as, after all, humans are Titan creations. Seeing that the Turans are generally leaning in the way of fat, they might be slower, less explosive, and have less endurance, but nonetheless, for humans, they possess quite a lot of strength and size. Number 7. Night Elves. Many might not expect them on this list, but when you examine them closely, you realize that Night Elves are actually one of the best warrior races. As they descend from the trolls, the Night Elves are similar in size and are between 7 and 8 feet tall, so nearly 2.5 meters, and they weigh anywhere from 2 to 300 pounds, so between 90 and 140 kilograms. The build of the Night Elves is tall, slender, and athletic. They're known for endurance, speed, agility, and even strength. Realistically, they have one of the best builds for fighting, and when on the higher spectrum of size, they can be bigger than an average orc. Night Elves make excellent rogues and warriors that rely on swiftness and speed. They might not be able to wrestle a Tauren with bare hands, but they are one of the most agile races on this list. Number 6. Draenei. The oldest race that we have today, formerly the Eredar, now a faction known as the Draenei. Their height ranges from 7 to 8 feet, so between 210 to 250 centimeters. Now combine that with their weight that is between 3 and 400 pounds, so between 130 to 20 kilograms, they're incredibly large creatures. Draenei possess a sturdy and muscular build, although they aren't really famous for just their physical strength. This is why they make excellent paladins, as they can combine their inborn strength with their intelligence and their faith in the light. Agility wise, as they have hooves, they're kinda awkward and not exactly explosive or sneaky. We've seen Draenei defeat orcs in combat, but we have also seen orcs easily overpowering the Draenei, so in terms of ranking, I would say they're similar to the orcs, and it depends on individual combat. Draenei may not be the strongest warrior race, but their genetics and size alone puts them amongst the strongest. Number 5. Pandaren. Pandaren are one of those races where it is really hard to tell what they got in store, which is exactly how the human and the orc felt when they faced one in combat in that famous cinematic. They seem to just be like this fat and cute creature, but when you learn more about them, you realize that they're actually ferocious beasts. An average Pandaren is about 7 feet 5 or 230 centimeters, and they're speculated to weigh up to 500 pounds, which is about 230 kilograms and even more. When you just take this into consideration, you realize that they're actually massive. Not only that, but they actually have claws and sharp teeth, much like a bear. On average, they don't really have an aggressive or a warrior mentality, but they can train and become masters of hand-to-hand combat like the monks. We've seen Pandaren having incredible reflexes, speed, agility, as well as fists that can break through armor. I know this is more of a class thing, but the class was developed with the Pandaren build in mind. Taranzu, one of the most powerful Pandaren, actually posed quite a serious threat to Garrosh and nearly defeated him, which is quite an accomplishment seeing that Garrosh was already a seasoned warrior at this point, and most other orcs were completely afraid of him. So even though Pandaren might not look very tough on first glance, they are amongst the physically most imposing playable races. Number 4. Orcs. Orcs are amongst the most iconic races of the game, generally seen as strong, physically powerful, and brutish. So it is of no surprise that they would be near the top of this list. On average, they're around 7 feet tall, so about 210 centimeters. However, they can be anywhere from 6 feet 3, 190 centimeters, up to 8 feet tall, around 2.5 meters. Well, the game makes it seem like they're Hulk-sized. They can range from small peon-like to hunched to massive warriors. However, on average, they're a very strong and tough race. They weigh about 300 pounds or 140 kilograms, but they can reach up to 200 kilograms or 450 pounds. Orcs are said to be natural-born warriors, essentially a warrior race. While they are really big and strong, they're also agile and capable of more than just sheer strength. Maybe not as agile as the Night Elves or the humans, but definitely not as slow as the Tauren. There are accounts of orcs being able to throw a horse and even defeat a gigantic monstrosity such as Manrot without any particular spells or magic. As warriors rarely have any spells or secret powers, looking at the achievements of the race's warriors is a good indicator of how strong they are. In terms of the orcs, they are very high on this list. Number 3. Trolls. Even though many see trolls as just lanky and skinny and one of the weak races, they're actually huge. They average 8 feet in height, which is nearly 2.5 meters. They weigh between 250 to 300 pounds, which is between 110 to 140 kilograms. Now, what is really important to note is that trolls are a very diverse race, and some subspecies are stronger than others. For example, the averages I mentioned are mainly for jungle trolls and the Darkspear. However, ice trolls are said to be twice the girth of their counterparts and can even be over 10 feet tall, which is over 3 meters. The Zandalari are also said to be one of the strongest of their species. It is mentioned that they are nearly a head taller than the Darkspear, and they are incredibly physically strong and agile. They can easily lift jungle trolls with both hands and can puncture skilled armor breastplate with just their thumbs. We've even seen female Zandalari trolls lifting up males with a single hand, which is a good indicator indicator of strength, as they do weigh a lot. Outside of just their size, the trolls are known for their endurance and agility, as well as their regeneration, making them excellent warriors, rogues, and hunters. Interestingly enough, dire trolls exist, which are even bigger versions, some altered alchemically, and some are just born that way. Now, taking all of these factors into consideration, trolls are one of the most physically powerful races on Azeroth. Number 2. Worgen. May not be the biggest race, but definitely one of the most powerful. Worgen are wolf-like creatures that possess incredible strength, agility, speed, and endurance. They may not seem large, but they actually are. They average 8 feet in height, so about 2.5 meters, and are up to 300 pounds and more, which is over 140 kilograms. However, their actual power comes from their ferocity and agility. The Worgen are literally the definition of explosive strength, and are known to be able to leap a big distance and to completely overwhelm their enemies with speed. They're the fastest of all the races, and at the same time have claws and very sharp teeth, so fighting them unarmed is essentially like fighting someone with a weapon. Gan Greymane almost defeated Sylvanas in that duel, and he really didn't have much power other than his Worgen form. To top all of this, Worgen have all of their senses enhanced: smell, hearing, and reflexes. Overall, vicious creatures that are more beasts than humanoids, and for that reason, they are one of the strongest races in the game. And lastly, number 1, Tauren. It is really of no surprise to anyone that the Tauren are at the top of this list. Averaging 10 feet in height or 3 meters, they really are the largest playable race that we have. Sure, some races can reach this height, but this is what a regular Tauren is like, and they can be even bigger than this. The weight of the Tauren is insane. They're about 400 pounds or 180 kilograms, but can go up to nearly 1,000 pounds or half a ton. Keep in mind, this is an average of 200 kilograms or more of straight out muscle and strength. They literally use parts of a tree as a weapon, and we've seen Tauren easily smashing a bear in the original cinematic. Now, their biggest weakness is their agility and dexterity, as they have hooves and they weigh a lot. Because of this, they may not be the fastest or the most skilled warriors, but they do make up for it in just sheer size. When you got a 3-meter tall monster that weighs half a ton, and you equip him with a ton of metal armor, there is barely a warrior that would be able to do much to him to even move him. A counter-argument is that Kieran lost to Garrosh, but keep in mind, he really bested him in that duel, and he was very old, while Garrosh was in his prime, and the poison was what changed the odds. So, in my opinion, the Tauren are the physically strongest, playable race within the game. Now that the video is over, I would like to thank Twitch.tv for sponsoring this video. I'm guessing most of you already know what it is, but if not, Twitch is really the best place out there for watching the games you love, chatting, interacting, and connecting. I've streamed there for years myself, and you guys that watch the streams will probably remember. What I really loved about it was the interaction, and that you really feel like you found a community and being able to interact with the audience in a very direct way, as well as to chat with like-minded people. I still remember connecting with you guys, and even have many of you on battle.net and Discord, and some of you even helped me record videos. Now, there are many exciting games on the site, but personally I'm really glad to see World of Warcraft section experiencing a revival, and I would prompt you guys to go and check it out. Now with Classic and Retail, there are a ton of streams out there for pretty much anyone. You can see the top game streams, join in live, and watch your way. There are also Twitch Rivals now, a series of most hype-live events in esports every week, professionally produced and hosted by Twitch, featuring prominent streamers competing for large prize pools. If you guys are into Fortnite, check out the very interesting event on the 30th of January with NFL players and Twitch streamers competing live from the Super Bowl in Miami. Once again, I would like to thank Twitch.tv for making this video possible, and I'm not even being salesy, I'm actually thinking of returning to streaming soon, and it's something I've had on my mind for quite a while now, possibly for Warcraft 3 Reforged. Anyway, thank you for your time, and see you next time.